Hello and welcome. When you think of the resale value of luxury bags, you typically think of the bags from the big ticket brands. So think of the Birkin, the Kelly, the Constance from Hermes, the classic flap from Chanel, the puzzle bag from Loewe, or the Saint Louis tote from Goya, for example. But I'm going to flip the script in this video and talk about the resale value of the front running styles from the brands I talk about, the high quality under the radar, what are typically referred to now as quiet luxury brands. I'm Anesu Sagonda, and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality under the radar brands, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, then my content is geared towards you. I randomly chose the brands I'm going to talk about. There was absolutely no method to my selection. And it's pure luck that I have a fairly diverse selection of brands. So the mid-tier going right up to the top end of the market. What I will do is talk about every single brand individually. I will start from the bottom and work my way up in terms of the least value retention, which is a percentage of the retail price. And I'll go through what you need to consider in terms of the colors, the styles, the sizes that really work. And I will also include with each brand the best places to buy or sell them. So for my top end brands, the high value, think of Colombo, Delvaux, Celine, Loro Piana. Those are my brands I'll talk about. I'd be more inclined to recommend the likes of Fashionphile, Rebag, Sotheby's, Christie's, Bonhams, for example, because they're fantastic for high value bags. They typically will buy them out, and therefore it almost guarantees a faster payment. For the mid to top end brands, I have Faure, Moreau, Valextra, for example. I'd be more inclined to recommend the likes of Vestiaire Collective, eBay, for example, peer-to-peer, because that way you guarantee the best, the highest return on investment. And then for the niche, the quiet luxury, the artisanal, the smaller brands like Bonastre, Boldrini, Tanneur, for example, I'll recommend the likes of a new brand, Grailed, Jolie Closet, and I'll also throw into that equation the Real. The first brand is Italian brand Colombo, and Colombo is a brand I really like. If you've been following my channel for a while, you will know I really like their pieces. The brand is focused on bags that are crafted primarily in either alligator, which they source from Mississippi in the United States, or crocodile, which originates from either Australia, Thailand, or Southern Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, for example. And they craft absolutely exquisite bags that are timeless. They're elegant pieces. What really works against Colombo is the fact that it's very much a high quality under the radar. It's not a known brand, and it's competing against the likes of Hermes. They're using comparable quality exotic leathers, but they don't have the clout that comes with a known brand, the hype, the association. And when you buy Colombo bags, it's because you really appreciate the beauty, the design, the craft that's gone into the bags. Their bags tend to be more on the delicate side because they use natural exotic leathers. And so you need to really look after your bags so you don't get any damage to the scale patterns, because that'll severely affect the premium that you can get. Colombo does incredibly well with the likes of Sotheby's, Christie's, particularly if it's a unique color, if it's a limited edition piece, it'll do incredibly well. Their rate is variable. It ranges from about 20, I would say, going up to about 30, 35%. Their bags typically start from about 12,000 US dollars. So you'll get a fairly chunky amount of money, anything from about $3,000 to $5,000, for example. But that is a very small percentage of the retail price. So the value retention is not great, it's fairly low, but it is a fantastic brand. If you find their pieces and it's in really good condition, fantastic. The next three brands I'm going to talk about them together. They are my entry level, my mid-range, and their value retention is between 35 going up to 60%. The first brand is French brand Bonastre, and Bonastre is a brand I particularly like. I have spoken about Bonastre bags twice, possibly even thrice in the last couple of months. Earlier on in the year, in January, I was in Paris and I met with Fernando, the owner and creative director of the brand. And I remember distinctly saying to him, Fernando, I really don't understand why your brand doesn't have a significantly higher profile. Whenever you watch content on social media talking about the best mid-range, mid-tier, mid-luxe, affordable level of luxury brands, brands like Strathberry, Aspinall London, Demelia, for example, are typically bandied about the most, together with a number of other brands, but they're the ones you hear the most about. But Bonastre is higher than those three brands and others. When you consider the leathers they use, they are better. The craftsmanship is superior. And the details are executed to a higher standard, and in some cases, significantly higher standard. Think, for example, the stitching, the reinforcements, the edge coating, the hardware, the weight, the palladium plating. Absolutely outstanding brand. And it's around the same sort of price. And I remember just thinking to myself, what will it take for the brand's profile to rise, for the brand to gain more traction? I guess we need more people talking about the brand. I don't know anyone else except myself who really talks about the brand, who really appreciates just how fantastic the products are. But hopefully it'll slowly start to gain traction. I've noticed on the secondary market, I'm starting to see a bit more of the brand. Not a lot, but a bit more. I recently discovered a reseller site called Grailed. They're focused on avant-garde, design-led brands, which Bonastre is. So fingers crossed, all in good time, it'll get there. The resale market, their front-running style is the rider bag. And they recently added a new size, the large, and they also added a style variation to the rider, the L chair. I'm going to attach the video above. And what does particularly well when it comes to the rider bag is the medium size in the color black in their signature Spanish calfskin leather. It does well because of the size. It very comfortably fits a 13-inch laptop. And of course, it's unisex. So male or female, anyone can rock the bag. The second brand is Italian brand Boldrini. And that's a brand I haven't yet spoken about on my channel. I literally have been trying to get into bed with the brand for the last couple of years. It's a small, very tightly run family business. And they're incredibly anxious about any level of exposure. And I just think to myself, I wish I could show them. I'm sincere. Honestly, your brand is in good hands. But I think with a little bit more work, I'll be able to wear them down. They have a bag called the saddle bag, which is a fantastic alternative to the Dior saddle bag, but at an absolute fraction of the price. I recently spoke about a higher priced alternative called the holster from French brand Prouesse by David Hanna. I'm going to attach the video above. So there's Prouesse by David Hanna, the holster, which is a higher price point. And then lower, significantly lower end of the market, but still very good quality, is the saddle bag from Boldrini. And Boldrini use a lot of vachetta. And vachetta is an absolutely fantastic leather. It's natural, it doesn't have any finish, and it's vegetal tanned. What the lack of finish means that is it's a delicate leather in that it starts as one color, a pale beigey color. And with time, exposure to oxygen, holding the bag, using it, it changes, it darkens and develops a very rich patina. But it's a leather that's susceptible to scratching. If it's a very deep scratch, you'll not be able to buff it away. And it also is susceptible to water stains. So if it gets water on it, you typically will be left with permanent stains. That will affect the premium. But otherwise, Boldrini is an absolutely wonderful brand, and I hope to talk about it soon. The third brand is French brand Le Tanneur. And Le Tanneur is like Bonastre, two brands I have spoken a lot about because I'm just so enthusiastic about the level of quality and craftsmanship they're bringing into the space I'm focused on. Le Tanneur is a brand that offers excellent price to quality ratio at the price point. It's absolutely amazing. Their front running style is the Emily. The Emily does incredibly well across all four sizes, but in particular, the black and the tan color and the grained leather over the smooth leather. The next two brands have a value retention of between 50 to 80%. The first brand is French brand Moreau, and their bags are made in Italy. And Moreau, together with another brand I'm going to talk about in the next group, Italian brand Valextra, both have the same issue in that they are in a market that rewards hype over high quality materials and craftsmanship. Moreau and Valextra are focused on crafting absolutely outstanding products. But their products compete like for like when it comes to quality and the craftsmanship with the likes of the big ticket brands like Hermes, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, for example. But Hermes and Chanel and so forth have the edge because they are owned by parents with incredibly deep pockets. So they're able to heavily market their products, raise their profile, and just create a lot of hype and demand for their products over brands like Valextra and Moreau, who are not rewarded for the high quality of the materials and the craftsmanship of their products because the market doesn't respect that as much as it respects the hype. And so Moreau and Valextra very much speak into my personal ethos. I am so anti the resale market. I do not believe in buying bags based on the potential resale value because I don't ever buy a bag with the intention of ever selling it. I buy a bag solely with the intention of keeping it for life, buying heirloom quality, so very good quality leathers coupled with absolutely fantastic craftsmanship. And so bags from brands like Moreau and also Valextra, I sincerely believe, buy their products and just enjoy them for life. What does incredibly well for Moreau in the resale market is the Bregensau tote, a front-running tote, absolutely beautiful tote I've spoken about. I'm going to attach the video above. And the Bregensau is made from absolutely exquisite bull calfskin leather. So it's thick, it's sumptuous, it's robust. It's also a reversible tote. So you essentially get two bags for the price of one. And the zip ensures that it gets a fairly decent premium. I know the market, I know a number of my viewers have explicitly requested totes with zip because they don't want their products falling out. If you're running to catch a train or whatever it may be in an airport, the zip ensures that your items are safe in the bag. Nothing falls out if you drop the bag, if you're running or anything like that. So the zip also helps to push up the value retention of the brand. The second is Faure Le Page, another French brand. Benefits heavily from the heritage, the craftsmanship, the high quality of the materials they use. But what really helps Faure Le Page more than anything is their limited distribution. They have two stores in Paris. One is on Rue Cambon, very close to the Chanel mothership. And then they also have a concession in Galeria Lafayette. And then they have a couple of stores in the Middle East, in Kuwait and Dubai. And then a handful of stores, Southeast Asia. Think, for example, the Philippines, Indonesia, Taiwan, Japan. They also have a store, I think, in Australia as well. So their stores are limited in the world. So that really helps to raise the value retention because there aren't that many bags that are made that are then sloshing about in the market or in the secondary market. So that really helps the brand. Their front-running style is the Daily Battle Tote. What really helps the resale value is the color, the size, particularly 35, 37 centimeters, the condition of the bag, pristine or is preferable. And of course, whether it has a zip or not. That really helps also increase the value retention of the brand. The next four bags I'm going to talk about have a value retention of between 35 and 90%. The first bag is the Easy Day from Italian brand Valextra. I spoke about Valextra together with Moreau a couple of minutes ago. Valextra is a brand that has leathers that are uniquely made for the brand. Their core leather, the Millipunti, is exclusively crafted by Tannery Haas, a top-rated French tannery crafting absolutely exquisite leathers. Their hardware is from Metal on Demand, a company owned by Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, and it is plated to jewelry quality. It is absolutely exceptional hardware. Their bags are incredibly well made, using absolutely fantastic quality leathers and hardware, and the craftsmanship is exceptional. Valextra is the type of brand, together like Moreau, that I always say, focus on buying the very best you can afford and the design you like most, and just focus on enjoying that bag for life, because the market at this stage will not recognize, respect, or reward the high value you're getting from their products, especially in comparison to other brands or bags that maybe are not on par. They may be a little bit below, or even quite a bit below, but because of the hype around their products, they will get a much higher premium, especially in comparison to Valextra. What does really well in the resale market when it comes to the Valextra? Two sizes, the mini and the micro. And the creme de la creme when it comes to colors is the white, what they call pergamena. If it's in pristine condition, you'll get an absolutely fantastic rate. But you also need to ensure that the structure of the bag is still fairly firm, it's rigid, the sides haven't softened. And the black lacquered edges, which they are known for, their signature, they need to be in absolutely perfect condition. The second bag is the Triomphe in the teen size from Celine. Celine is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to the resale market. I am not a fan of aspirational brands, but if I was pushed to choose whether it's a bag or a brand, it would definitely be Celine as well as Loewe. They are the two brands I'd be more inclined to look for a bag from if I had to buy a bag from an aspirational brand. The Teen Triomphe is a bag and size I've spoken about in a previous video. I'm going to attach the video above. And the teen size is seen as a sweet spot when it comes to sizes. And in particular, the shiny calfskin. And what's very popular is the black as well as the tan color. What also does well is the Triomphe in the canvas because it's durable. And the price is seen as more of an entry-level price. And it's fairly lively. It does incredibly well in the secondary market. The next bag is the Tempête from Belgian behemoth brand Delvaux. The Tempête is a little less liquid than the Brillant, also from Delvaux. And specifically the Tempête in the box calfskin leather. That's what does the best. All the other leathers don't command the same premium, but you also need to ensure that there's minimal wear on the hardware. Limited edition pieces also do really well. And I've noticed recently that there's been a surge in value in vintage 1970s, 1980s Tempête bags, but you need to ensure it's in absolute pristine condition. And then the fourth bag is also from Delvaux, the Brillant, their front running style. And in particular, the mini and the medium sizes. They do significantly better in the resale market in comparison to all the other sizes, and specifically in the box calfskin. And you need to ensure the hardware is in pristine condition. Limited edition pieces also do very well. But what's worth noting when it comes to Delvaux, whether it's the Tempête or the Brillant, I would place them firmly in the same category as Valextra and Moreau, in that you will never be able to realize the fair value of the bags in the resale market. So it's bags that I'd always say, buy them for life and just enjoy them. I have seen in the wild on a couple of occasions, vegetal tanned Brillant bags develop the most sensational patina. Their bags age absolutely beautifully, and they're like a fine wine. With time, they just get better and better. The last bag has a value retention of between 110 and 130%. It's the Loro Piana Extra Pocket Bag. It's one of the few bags outside of the Hermes, Birkin, Kelly, Constance, for example, that you can flip immediately after purchasing for a profit. What has really helped the extra pocket bag is firstly the quiet luxury boom, the scarcity factor. Demand far exceeds the supply of the bag, and the vanity box trend. What does incredibly well within the resale market is the L19 size in the colors white, sand, or warm mystique. The charm hardware needs to be intact. And the grained calfskin, it is what does the best out of all of the leathers. So that's a selection of 11 quiet luxury bags, going through the pros and cons, what to consider or not when it comes to the resale of the bags. As I mentioned throughout the video, the brands I talk about, I'm all for buying the bags. They're the best within the chosen level of luxury, and just enjoy them for life. Any thoughts, any questions, as always, let me know in the comments section down below.